On everyone. So Los Angeles Lakers still have a lot of potential moves this offseason. And Jeanie Buss was even in an interview recently and sort of relayed that. She said, the job's not done. We got more on the way. Just be patient. I'm paraphrasing, but essentially she just said that the Lakers have more moves on the horizon. She didn't go into detail. She didn't give us any idea or clue as to what will happen. If there's some kind of trade or if there's just free agency signings, because the Lakers do have 2 open roster spots still. But for the most part, you look at the Lakers roster, and it's pretty much locked up, right? You have a good understanding, a good grasp of what to expect from this Lakers roster. We got depth, we got size, we got talent. Jeanie Buss in that same interview relayed that they learned a lot from that Denver Nuggets series and kind of built their roster accordingly, and that's kind of the plan going forward, which is great. That means the Lakers' plan is to continue to stay big. And they got all these young, just potential wings and players that can grow and develop under the Lakers brand, hopefully be around for a long time, and hopefully this season ends with the Lakers winning an NBA championship. But there are several moves that could be on the horizon. And again, she didn't give us even a deadline, right? She didn't even say that it was necessarily this sort of window going into training camp. She just said that they have more moves planned, more directions to go, right? So what is it that they could be trying to work out? Now, obviously, again, filling those roster spots. Bismack Biyombo, Christian Wood, a lot of talks, a lot of speculation about Christian Wood coming to Lakers. It's kind of weird that it hasn't happened yet. I mean, there's no rush by either side, right? And the Lakers' offer isn't going anywhere. It's not like the Lakers can all of a sudden offer, Christian Wood $10 million. No, the most he can get from the Lakers is a vet minimum. So Christian Wood might be waiting around to just see if maybe push comes to shove, maybe a team ends up offering him a little more, or maybe a team, say Dame ends up getting traded and James Harden gets traded, right? And somebody else, right? There's Pascal Siakam, there's Zach LaVine who's on the market. There's lots of potential dominoes that could still fall. Maybe Christian Wood is looking at it, well, if I'm patient, kind of let all the dominoes fall, then maybe a team will be kind of desperate enough to give me a better contract, or maybe another team will make more sense for me fit-wise, right? Miami, if they end up getting Damian Lillard, does Christian Wood say, okay, well, at that point, I'd rather go to Miami now because, we would have me, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Damian Lillard. That could be something that they're kind of considering, something that he's kind of looking at. Bismack Biyombo, I don't know why he hasn't signed yet. The only thing I could think of is that the Lakers are waiting to see what happens with Christian Wood, right? Christian Wood seems to be kind of their plan A, and then if he falls through, then they go get Biz. And I know a lot of people want Biz more. I know some people think that something else is going on. But I mean, that makes the most sense. I know there's even people that think that the Lakers don't really want Christian Wood because there was that report that that some guys on the Lakers were not really hyped about Christian Wood, which is understandable. Character issues, things like that. But if they weren't waiting around for Christian Wood, why not just go get Bismack Biyombo, right? Why isn't he already signed? So that is probably the more likely scenario. But there are other possibilities, right? D'Angelo Russell. He's a guy that waived his no-trade clause. There were speculation of him being traded the moment he signed that new deal. And there was even talks about the Lakers maybe working out a sign and trade. They want to move Austin Reeves to the point guard more and give him more sort of ball handling duties. And that also makes sense for the future for the Lakers because if you have Austin Reeves at the point, Max Christie, if he continues to evolve, and he looked great. He looked like a guy that deserves some real minutes. If he continues that trajectory, then he's your starting 2 guard. So if you can move Austin Reeves to the point, well, then now you have Austin Reeves at the point. You have Max Christie at the 2, Jared Vanderbilt at the 3, Rui Hachimura at the 4, Anthony Davis at the 5. This is, of course, post LeBron and all that stuff. So D'Angelo Russell would be the odd man out. So do you look to go maybe make a move or a trade with D'Lo? Now, if that was to happen, it wouldn't happen this offseason, right? Because I don't think he can be traded till towards the end of January, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong about that, but I know he can't be traded anytime soon, is the point. So with that, they would basically be going into the season with D'Lo, but maybe they kind of have an idea of who they're going to trade and what is going to happen, right? Like Chicago. Chicago seems to be kind of teetering on, should we blow it up, should we not? If they end up trading Zach LaVine, then DeMar DeRozan very likely becomes available, and it would make sense for the Chicago to try to get something for him because he can just leave next year, and he's on a reasonable contract. He's only making like 25, 26 million, something like that. So maybe that's something that they're kind of considering, or maybe it's not even another star, right? Which, I mean, if you could go get, say, a DeMar DeRozan or something like that and still keep most, if not all of your depth, then sure, right? Like if you could just trade D'Lo and whatever, right, to go get like a DeMar DeRozan, cool. You get your third star and you still have all of your depth, cool. But maybe it's not even for that. Maybe what if it's like for Alex Caruso and Andre Drummond, right? Maybe they want another more sizable center or something. Maybe it's another trade entirely. Like D'Lo, there's teams that would take D'Lo because he's on a reasonable deal. He's still a 17, 6-5 guy. I've been a defender of D'Lo, right? I actually don't mind if the Lakers keep him and don't make a move at all and just kind of just let him ride out this season, because I do think he's a guy that can have a real impact on this Lakers roster. Gives another ball handler, gives you a 17, 5, and 6 guy, like I said. So I'm kind of torn in that regard. Obviously, if I want the Lakers to win more than keeping D'Lo. So if a trade makes sense that pops up, then sure, right? That could be something that they look at. And I think more than anything, they're going, LeBron has this window, right? A year, maybe two. Because I do think if the Lakers win the championship this year, or at least come close, I do think LeBron sticks around, right? Like, let's say the Lakers make it to the finals and they lose. LeBron looks at it as like, look, I can opt out, I can get a new contract and free up a little money to bring in somebody else to put us over the top. That could be a possibility, right? Like that could be something that LeBron potentially does. And look, I know LeBron in the past said he'd never take a pay cut again or anything like that. That was before he was what would be him going into year 22 and 40 years old. Right? There's a big difference between that and when he said that 5 years ago or whatever, 6 years ago. Right? There's a big difference between that. So I think it just depends and is kind of dictated based on how the Lakers perform. And again, what is still out there on the horizon. All of like the real impact players in free agency are pretty much gone except for Christian Wood. Right? Everyone else is kind of guys that make some sense for why they aren't on a roster, and also some guys that are kind of, coin flips, right? Like this guy, he's young, he has some upside, so maybe it's kind of what you're looking at, right? You're looking at basically project guys, veteran guys that are just kind of veteran guys, or Christian Wood. So I don't know. For the most part, I think it's as straightforward as just Christian Wood or Bismack Biyombo, but there are a lot of possibilities, and there are things that could happen, and I'm kind of interested in curious. But as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think Jeanie meant by, be patient, more is to come? Do you think that is as simple as just Christian Wood, a Bismack Biyombo, maybe some other free agent? Do you think, no, maybe it is a trade on the horizon? Again, she didn't give us, a necessary timeline. She just was like, we have an idea, we have a direction that we want to go, and we're trying to build an NBA championship level contender and trying to win a championship, right? Like that's the goal, championship or bust. It's the Lakers. We're not happy to be second place or fourth place. We're happy to be first. We want to hoist that trophy, and Jeanie and Rob have done a pretty good job of putting this roster together. And I do think, I think regardless, if a trade presents itself that makes sense, then the Lakers are going to do it, right? And that should be any organization's sort of mentality, right? If you have something that you can do to improve your team and improve your roster without losing, I don't want them trading for Damian Lillard or something like that. Because, yes, technically you could go trade for Damian Lillard and keep a good portion of your depth, but you're probably going to have to lose a good majority of it. But, like, if it's somebody, like I said, DeMar DeRozan, then you could probably get DeMar DeRozan on the cheap, right? Like, you could do D'Lo and another piece, whatever it is, and go get DeMar DeRozan. Maybe you throw in a Shafino or something like that, and go get DeMar and kind of make this championship level push. That's a possibility. But anyway, again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know down in the comments.